Welcome back for another video. What are the experts doing ahead of Gameweek 29? There's a lot of flags right now in FPL, isn't there? We've got Haaland, Rice, Anderson, O'Reilly, Wirtz, Mukiele, Wilson and so on. So let's work out the best way to navigate this week with the experts' data. Between these guys, they've finished top 10k 620 times, 58 top 1k finishes, 5 top 100 finishes and 1 FPL champion. Hit subscribe below so you can benefit from the data every week to help guide your moves and decisions and move up your mini leagues. Jamie McDonald reclaims the top spot in the Experts League with a score of 86 points, and he was pretty unlucky to get nothing in goal. He had Kelleher who didn't play, and then he had Dubravka coming off the bench, who also finished on 0 points, but a great week otherwise. 3 goal involvements just in the defence alone, plus Bruno captain, Wilson, Ekatike. There's now 11 experts in this series ranked top 10k, and there's quite a few just a point outside, and there's 25 experts in the top 25k as well. Well played if you managed to beat the average expert score, which was 77 points last game week. It was a really good week for the top all-time managers, given that they beat the overall average by 24 points. This week, 59% are hoping to roll, 29% are making 1 transfer, and 12% are making 2. Now, obviously, injury news is crucial this week, and the plans could change based on what gets unearthed in the presses. Like, Slot has indicated that Wirtz is going to be out, and he probably misses this weekend's FA Cup game as well. On Tuesday, before the deadline, we're going to hear from Arteta, Marco Silva and Pep. Those are the big ones, considering Rice, Wilson, O'Reilly, Haaland. So, who are the top all-time managers buying and selling for Gameweek 29? It's quite a wide spread this week, but number 1 this week is Ekatike, followed by Salah. Now, obviously, Salah's been absolutely nowhere near a 14 million player this season. He's got no goals in his last 10 league games, only 1 double-digit return this season. It is somewhat of a punt, and it does depend on Haaland news. Just to play devil's advocate, if he's very likely out Haaland, then where do you even go for your transfers? You know, many can afford to go for Ekatike and for Haaland, plus still buy Salah for a midfielder like Rice. Or if not Salah, then I guess you're looking at some other names on this list like Dango, Wilson, Tavernier, Szoboszlai. Surprisingly, Palmer's name not popping up here. He did pick up a knock in the Arsenal game, but Rosinia said he's absolutely fine to start the next one. Some managers are doing the unthinkable. Haaland to Calvert-Lewin, 4% are buying the Leeds forward, who in fairness does have 3 good fixtures ahead of them. They've got Sunderland home, Palace away, Brentford home. I never thought I'd see the day where Haaland's being sold for Calvert-Lewin. In fairness, in Farke's own words, he says Haaland is the best striker on the planet and the only striker better than Calvert-Lewin. There was a quote from Pep after the Leeds game, but it's a bit open to interpretation. So Pep was saying that as players return from injury, they'll build up to sort of tackle this difficult part of the season, and he said the following words: Jeremy will be back, Erling will be back. It's kind of open to interpretation exactly what he's saying. He could just be talking broadly speaking when these players are going to be back, rather than saying they're back for the Forest game. Liverpool's game is on Tuesday night, so if you are looking at some of their attackers, then there is that added merit in waiting, because we're likely to get some early team news there. But that aside, as I say, there's some crucial press conferences to come on Tuesday from Arteta, Silva and Pep, who hopefully shed some light on their flag players. 9% are selling Rice, 6% Enzo, 6% Timber. Arteta is expected to make some changes midweek, but who that includes exactly is uncertain. It could be Timber out, but White wasn't even in the squad last game. Maybe Mosquera can go there, but maybe Timber stays nailed. It could be Martinelli coming in at left wing, Havertz striker, some other changes. Perhaps Rice gets a rest as well, given that injury substitution. Andrews has confirmed that Kelleher will be back for the next game, which is great news if you got him. Well, not so much if you're looking at Bournemouth players, because there are quite a few great picks there, including the attackers. Like Tavernier's got returns in his last 3 starts now. Immediate impact on his first start last game week since that injury. He got the assist and bonus points. Brentford home, Burnley away, Man United home. If you're on a wildcard 32 strategy, they've got among the best 3 fixtures in terms of projected goals these next 3. He's clearly really important, you know, captains them. He came off 80 minutes as well, which could indicate another start for Tavernier. Plus, there's the potential Evan Nilsson injury, which might free up that spot behind the striker for him, that Krupi was competing for. Might be Krupi up top. Really solid pick for 5.3 mil to consider. The corners, the free kicks, the penalties. No chips active this week, but just a quick recap on what's been used so far and when the chips might be utilised. 15% have used the second wildcard, but we've still got 85% that still have the wildcard. No free hits used in the second half of the season yet. 7% have bench boosted, 77% have used the triple captain. The majority are planning to wildcard in Gameweek 32 because that basically allows you to sell players from the likes of City and Arsenal in blank Game Week 31 when they don't have a game, and then you can immediately get them back when you will want them the next week. The only thing with wildcarding in Game Week 32 is that there's actually some fantastic fixtures that week, so you might end up having to sell players that go on to Hull. For example, Liverpool have got Fulham home, Man United have got Leeds home. If they don't double in 33 and you feel pressed to sell them, there's every chance you're selling an Ekitike before a brace, or you're selling an Mbeumo who could score against Leeds home. The knock-on effect is you could wildcard directly into double Game Week 33, but then the bench boost would have to go later if you still got it. If you've already bench boosted, then wildcarding directly into double Game Week 33 might work better for your team. Game Week 34 is going to be the biggest blank game week of the season, and that's going to be a really popular free hit week because those that double in 33 will likely immediately blank the next week, which does make it a challenging pair of game weeks to navigate without a chip, but it is possible with lots of free transfers as well. On to Experts Captaincy, and there's actually 6 names this week. So Haaland leads with 57% of the vote, Bruno and Ekitike joint second with 15% each, and then Salah 9%, Semenyo 3%, and 1 in die captaincy. It all hangs in the balance this week in terms of team news though. Like if you're keeping Haaland, he's unlikely to just get a cameo, so you're probably safe captaining him, and it just reverts to your vice if need be. He's only had 1 cameo this season. Who are you guys captaining this week? So moving on, let's have a look at the Experts template team, the most owned 15 players across all their squads, and the team is a 3-5-2 with Raya in goal. It's Hill, Gabriel and Virgil back 3, Bruno, Wilson and Mbeumo, Rice and Dango midfield, and a front 2 of Thiago and Haaland. Haaland captain, Bruno vice. And the benches Dubravka, Anderson, Alderete and Gue. Ekitike is up to 64% owned now, and he's the big one that's not in the team. That's just because of budget reasons, and Thiago is still slightly higher owned at 86%. Bruno and Gabriel, the joint most popular players among the top all-time managers, they're both 97% owned. That's more than double the overall player base ownership. Haaland drops down to 79% owned, Van Dijk 65%, Wilson 54%. And then it's Anderson, Dango, Rice and Mbeumo, Rodgers and Raya, the next most owned by the top all-timers. So Dango in for Rodgers is the change to the team this week. Hopefully by Tuesday afternoon some of these flags have cleared. As it stands, the team has got Raya, Gabriel, Rice, Haaland and Gue that blank in 31, assuming that Gue doesn't start, which is basically certain. So a fairly good spot to be in that respect, but that's why it's always good to have at least a spare transfer minimum when we're building up to a blank game week, because if you already had the exact number of transfers planned to get a good 11 out, then if anything goes wrong you're in trouble, and a lot went wrong in Game Week 28. Robust is the term you often hear when people talk about their FPL teams. It's really important to be robust, to be flexible with your plans. So much to think about this week, so let's get to the final thoughts and tips from the top all-time managers. FPL Mark says, if Haaland misses out, my captain will be Ekitike or Bruno. If we hear any reliable news that Haaland or Wilson are going to be out for longer than Game Week 29, then I'll use a free transfer to move either João Pedro or Tavernier in. Alex says, I had planned to transfer Rodgers or Rice to Harry Wilson, as he's probably my biggest risk to rank. But going off early does raise a question about a midweek start, so I'm tempted to carry my transfer over. Harry Tennant says Haaland to Ekitike is a bit of a placeholder planned transfer ahead of the pressers. If not for other potential injuries, I might have benched Rice anyway. So alternatively selling him would be fine. I had the money for Wirtz, but now he's likely not available either, so I'm not sure where I'd go other than Szoboszlai. It'd be amazing if Keane started midweek, as the only defender transfers I'd really want to target for 29 are Tarkowski, which is kind of pointless since he's got a bad following 2 fixtures. Maybe a City defender, but they've got the blank in 31. Hill or Senesi, but they've got a bad Game Week 31 fixture. Or Konate, he's fine, but is he a dull pick? Cielo and Alderete, not great subs this week, but both could at least get DEFCON. If fit, Haaland's a good captaincy choice, but other options work. Bruno or Thiago, as Bournemouth love to concede goals to centre forwards. And lastly, Jossie says, it's a really tough week this one, with a very quick turnaround. A lot of flags appearing yesterday. Any transfers are so precious as we approach blank Game Week 31. Personally, I'd earmarked funds for Enzo to Wirtz this week, but that's no longer possible. Keane to Anderson was my fallback plan, bring forward a move plan for 31, but that also now looks tricky. Wilson is flagged, but he's a player I definitely want to hold. I don't love playing Enzo this week, but selling a playable player this week feels very luxury. If Haaland is out, then a move for Raul or DCL could be on the cards, but if not, it may be wise to roll my only free transfer and limp through this game week with an Alderete auto sub. late news is going to be key to final decisions. Thanks for watching. I'll be live on Tuesday at 4 PM UK time for the deadline stream, so make sure you come and join the carnage. We'll monitor any leaks as well, and I'll be answering your questions live. See you then.